I encourage you, open the file you saved last time. What you have to do is to go to data. Once you open the file, you go to data. We want to move back to Power Query. So I'll click here under queries and connection. I'll click here. That will open this. We'll have macroeconomic indicators. Whatever name you give to your file, that's what you'll find a connection here. I will double click in order to open Power Query. Now there are a number of things I want to do. I simply want to choose 5 countries. So I'm going to come in here. Okay, you may see yours may be slightly different than mine, but that's okay. Just follow the same steps and you will be fine. So I'll come here, I'll click there, and so generally what I want to do, I just want to choose 5 countries. Okay, so the first thing you have to do, click on Load More. Once it loads, it may take some time because we have a lot of data. Once everything is done, I guess yours should look like this. What you have to do is to uncheck everything. So click on Select All and then scroll down and choose 5 countries. We want the 5 North American countries, and in addition to that, we want Germany and the United Kingdom. So let's scroll down to Canada. Where are we? Here you are, Canada. We go to Germany, and then we can take a look at Mexico. Now we go all the way down to UK and United States. That's it. We've selected our 5 countries. I'm going to OK. It's going to filter it. It may take some time, but it will filter it. And now we have 5 countries which have been selected. The next thing we want to do, we want to get rid of some years which are really not helpful. So we will go where we have here, we'll click here and do another filter. Okay, so generally it's completely checked, but I want to take off some years which may be slightly problematic. I'll take off 2019 and 2020. It's up to you. You can leave it, but I'll just... Okay, let's first of all look at what's going on with those years. Do they have sufficient data? So I'll come here where we have Canada for 29. Yeah, they are fine. So I'll just leave it. I won't filter off those years. I'll leave those 2 years. And that should be all. When we take a look, that should be all. We have 5 data points. So the next thing we have to do is to go to Home. You click on Home, close and load, close and load, and that is it. It takes a while to load here, but once the loading is done, I'll just wait with you. I won't post my video. It means the final video may be longer, but that's okay. Yep. You can listen to some music, or you can do something while waiting. So yours can go faster depending on the speed of your computer. Okay, it says awesome, it's loaded. So what do we want to do right now? We want to right click here to load this as a table. Okay, now we want a table. We no more want this link that we had created, a pivot table link, well, a pivot report link. I am going to click here and I'm going to double click, or just right click. If you don't want to double click, you can just right click here, rename. I'm going to give it table. I hit enter. I will click here, right click, rename, and pivot tables. We will create some pivot tables there, and finally we will come here and create the dashboard. Well, a dashboard, it's just one. Okay, so we'll come, we want to insert a table here. When we insert a table, it's going to delete this. Okay, so what we want to do is to come right click here and take load to. Okay, I'll take load to, I'll change it from pivot table report to table, and I want it to be placed. It says, where do you want to put the data? Existing worksheet, yes. What's the existing worksheet? I don't want it to continue here. I want to go under table and put it here at A4. So you see table A4. I will say OK, and it will likely ask me, it will tell me that it's connected to this and it's going to get rid of that. I will say OK, just do it. So right now it's loading it. You can see right here where you have queries and connection, it's loading it here. And once it tells me it's done, I'll move here and I'll find that it has created the tables I want, and I can now proceed with the tables to go and create some pivot tables. Voila, it's done. Now this has gone. If I come here, I can find my table. It has created a table. Now if I want to see the properties of this table, I can go to table design. This is the name of the table, macroeconomic indicators. If I want to see whatever queries are attached to it, I can come here, but that's it. I'll leave it as it is. We are done with the next step. Now we will move on to pivot tables and create 8 pivot tables rapidly. The first 4, we want to look at how the indicators change across time, and the other 4, we want to see how the indicators change by countries. So let's start with the first one. In order for you to create a pivot table, you have to go to insert. We want to insert pivot tables right here in this worksheet. We have redesigned and given the name as pivot tables. So stay here where you have your table, click inside, and then go to insert, go to pivot table, and take from table range. We will do a lot of repetitive things so that you become very used to. Just know there are different ways of doing what we will be doing now, but we want to repeat ourselves over and over so that you become really used to it. So I'll come here. It says new worksheet. No, I want an existing worksheet. Where is the location? I'll click here on pivot tables. That's my location. I'll put it here on 4, and I'll say OK. And right now we have a pivot table there. So what's the first thing we want to do? I want to take year and put it where we have row. It's going to break it down and give me years, quarters, and so on. So I'll click here, click hold, drag, and put it there. And I'll get rid of quarters and year. I'll just click here, pull it out and release. Click here, pull it out and release. And here we have the years. Now I want to add one indicator here. I want to add GDP. So you can drag it and put it where you have values. And that's it. You are done with the first table. Let's go on with the second table. I'll click here. Go back to insert. Pivot table. From table range. Existing worksheet. Okay, here we have a problem. It says, what's the range? So I'll cancel and just go to table, click inside the table, go to insert, pivot table. From pivot tables, now it has given us macroeconomic indicators. I'll choose existing worksheet, come back here, click here, OK, and that's it. Now we want to take years. Please do not take year, take years. I'll click on years, put it where we have row, and I'll just check GDP indicator, deflator. I don't need to drag it all the way here. It understands, it's smart, that if I click here, I want it there. Second table is done. Let's do the third one. I'll go back to table. You see it's quite repetitive. Insert, pivot table, I click down, I take from table range, existing worksheet, I go to pivot tables, I click at G4, I OK, I take yes, I put it where we have row, I check CPI. So we can see how. So what does this actually mean? You are looking at the value of the consumer price index in all the 5 countries in 1980. So that's just what it means. It has summed everything and put it there, and you have it throughout the years. So let's move on to the next one. Table, insert, pivot table, from table range, new existing worksheet, pivot tables, click at J4, OK, take yes, into rows, check unemployment rate. I'm done with the first 4 pivot tables, and I want to add the next 4. I'll just scroll down and put them here. Go back to table, make sure you've clicked inside, insert, pivot tables, from table range, existing worksheet, go to pivot tables, click here, and OK. Now we will no more use yes, we will now use country. Click on country whole and then pull it into rows, then check GDP. Now you just have to make sure the totals are the same. Now the distribution is by countries. Initially it was by years, now it's by countries, but it's still the same total. That's why you have the same values occurring there. We go back to table, insert, pivot table, from table range, existing worksheet, go to pivot tables, click there, at D51, OK, take countries, put it where you have rows, and GDP deflator. 2 more tables to go. So we'll go back to table, make sure you are clicked inside, insert, pivot table, from table range, existing worksheet, go to pivot tables, click here to tell it that's where I want to be, OK, country, and now it's CPI, the Consumer Price Index. Next, we move to table, insert, pivot table, from table range, existing worksheet, pivot tables, click here, OK, country, and unemployment rate. We are done with our 8 tables. In the next video, we are going to generate 8 charts and place them where we have a dashboard, and also create slicers and timeline to be able to manipulate them and study the changes across time of our indicators.